friends, welcome to the channel and welcome back to a cozy highlight. My name is Nessa and today I'm going to be highlighting Fruitbus, developed by Krillbite Studio. In this cozy highlight, I'll be talking about my experience throughout the game and my thoughts on whether I think it's for you. This is an adaptation to my 10-1-10 and 10-1-10-1 reviews, as it takes a general look at my experience instead of a deep dive, which can take a few months for me to complete, or for shorter games that do not meet the intensive review process. Since there are so many great games out there, it can be a little intimidating and overwhelming to decide whether or not to get something. So I think it's important to highlight the aspects of a game that I enjoyed and what I wasn't a fan of personally. Coupled with my experience over the course of playing a game, I hope that you'll be able to form a good enough impression on it to decide whether or not it's for you. Thanks so much to Silver Lining Interactive for graciously allowing me to try out Fruitbus. And with that, let's get into it. Fruitbus is a cooking simulation adventure game set on the island of Gustum. In this game, you are embarking on a grand adventure to gather all of your grandmother's friends to have one last farewell feast. Forage the local fruits and vegetables on each island that you visit to create dishes that your customers want to eat, and stir up old memories from when your grandmother ran the Fruitbus all those years ago. Fruitbus released on October 28, 2024 for the PC, and recently released on the Nintendo Switch on August 7, 2025. My review is strictly for the Nintendo Switch version of the game, so keep that in mind when I talk about controls and any bugs or glitches that I may have experienced. Currently, the game retails for $24.99 USD for PC and $19.99 USD for the Nintendo Switch. In the beginning, Fruitbus was quite difficult for me because I found that I needed some time to get used to the controls. In addition, I felt a little stuck on what to do for the first hour, as I didn't know you would have to drive around the island to gather ingredients from the wild, or that you could basically feed your customers a fallback dish instead of exactly what they wanted to eat. I'm so used to unlocking a place, staying there, finishing it, and then moving on, so I really had to get out of that mindset. I'm also used to customers leaving when you tell them that you don't have what they want instead of being okay with a fallback dish. Once I got into the mindset that Fruitbus was not strictly about running a food truck, but an adventure game where you propel the story forward by cooking specific dishes, the game really opened up for me. This happened around the 2-hour mark, where I decided to just go around the island and explore while gathering ingredients in the meantime. Through my time with the game, the controls got a lot easier. I didn't struggle as much as I did in the beginning. Additionally, I could drive better and I wasn't hitting every single fence and having to get myself unstuck multiple times. I want to say that the first 2 hours of my time was really slow since I wasn't really enjoying my experience as much. I was so stuck in my own mindset. But once I started to get into the groove of things, I was having a really fun time with the game and the hours flew by so fast since I always had some goal that I was working towards. I finished all of the quests on the first island, the Mandamas, at around 7 hours, and I was pretty excited to go on to the next island, Breezy Bay, with a fully stocked food truck full of upgrades and equipment. With that, I want to talk about what I liked about the game and what I wished it did differently. It is so satisfying to see the combos of different ingredients together when you make a dish or a drink. I really like how all the numbers pop up to show you how many points you got, which then translates to how much you're going to get paid. In the beginning, I thought the numbers corresponded to how well I was cutting the fruits and vegetables and couldn't for the life of me understand why apples were only getting a 1 score when I thought I was cutting them to perfection. However, I soon learned that each fruit and vegetable have an assigned value, with the rare ingredients having bigger values and thus paying out more when you use them. I really like this because it allows you to experiment with a combination of different ingredients and ways to prepare them as you try to get as many combos as you can so that your payout is bigger. I like the cooking simulation part of the game where you're running a food truck, preparing orders for customers, and prepping ingredients. Once I was able to get the shovel and food plunger item, I found it really cozy to drive around, collect some ingredients, stop by a place to sell some food to a few folks, and then hit the road again to my next stop. The gameplay loop definitely became much more fun once I got a hang of what the game wanted me to do. I like the ability to decorate how I want. There are plenty of items that you can buy to make the exterior and interior of your food truck be your own. I just made it to Breezy Bay's Clifftown store, which sells paint. that I can use on my food truck's interior and exterior walls to make it change color. There's so many spots that you can color, and I just had a blast with this. I also like having to go to the store to get more shelvings, crates, and decorations, and having the ability to put them where I want inside of the food truck. I was really surprised about the level of customizations that you can have in the game, and had such a fun time reorganizing things to create a better flow when I'm working in the kitchen. The Switch version of this game definitely has a lot of rendering challenges that is very noticeable when you're playing the game. Mountains in the distance will pop into existence as you get closer, which is really distracting when you're driving a fruit bus. There was a specific quest that I had where you needed to remember where Grandma buried an item, and you get a clue in the form of a photograph where she's standing near various landmarks. When actually getting to the place where the item is buried, you actually can't see the landmark that it's referencing, making the task a bit more difficult if you're under the impression that you're going to be able to see it. Overall, I think the game intends for you to see off in the distance, as there are benches and vista spots overlooking the island, but I find them to be a bit lackluster since I cannot see very far into the distance. This one is such a big bummer for me because it's so noticeable while you are playing, so you really have to be forgiving of the graphics, as the gameplay itself is so fun and enjoyable. Also to note, I did play the demo version of Fruitbus on PC last year in 2024, and the PC version does not have any of the rendering challenges that the Switch version has. The island looks really beautiful, and the vista points actually are quite a sight. So I do think that this is strictly a Switch version issue. This version also has some bugs that are quite out there. In one instance, I got an item where all the buttons on this item decided to fly off the control panel and float in the air instead. When I broke down this item, it disappeared somewhere, and I still have not found it, and I'm not 100% sure what it actually did because I couldn't use it with the floating buttons distracting me. In another instance, my blender decided to get rid of the buttons on its front, so I would have to get really close to it to use it. The buttons did reappear when I started the game again another day, so I think it was taking a break or something. After the buttons came back, I was able to use the blender at a reasonable distance. I did not have to get so close to it as I did when the buttons were gone. Yet another time, I had issues with ingredients in a bowl not sitting correctly, and then being unable to use the bowls that I had set down until I restarted the game, not to mention the time that the game crashed on me around 6 hours of playing, so I lost a few minutes of gameplay when that happened. I'm not sure whether others have encountered as many bugs as I have, but it definitely made the experience a bit more difficult to navigate around since the problems weren't always solved with a restart of the game. If you are looking for a pure cooking simulation game, then Fruitbus might not be the experience that you're looking for. However, if you're open to cozy adventure with cooking simulation elements, then this game might be just for you. There is a charming story and lots of memories that the main character has with her grandma through the food that is recreated. If you like a game where you can drive a food bus around and explore areas looking for ingredients to complete food requests, then this game is up your alley. I did find it very fun to figure out where certain ingredients could be, and that involved having to explore every nook and cranny that I could and revisiting places more than once, especially once I got more tools. Of course, there are some major bugs and glitches that I have encountered throughout my gameplay as mentioned, so do keep that in mind if you're deciding on whether to get this game on PC or the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, based on my demo of the game on PC in 2024, the PC version did not have the rendering issues that I experienced on the Nintendo Switch. I do like the controls on the Nintendo Switch version better because it does feel more intuitive, even though it still needs getting used to. Overall, I think if you like the gameplay loop, then the game is worth the price, as I have 2 entire islands to explore and cook for, which I think could easily mean 15 to 20 more hours of playtime depending on how easy it is for me to fulfill those food requests. I guess the Nintendo Switch version of the game is cheaper than the PC version for a reason, so I definitely would weigh the pros and cons of being able to play this game on a handheld versus being able to enjoy what the game could look like. Well, there you have it. What did you think about Fruitbus? Have you already played it on PC? Are you excited to jump into it now that it's on the Nintendo Switch, or are you still on the fence about it? Let me know in the comments. And as always, like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. It really helps me out to let me know that I'm making content that you want to see. And hopefully, it can also help new viewers find my content easier. Thank you so much for making it to the end. I have been Nessa, and this has been a Cozy Highlight. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.